advanced review here. This is chapter 8, review by topic. I'm going to try to break this whole thing down for you kind of quickly. I kind of like to think about these top questions as two different parts. One part is, do the sides make a triangle? And the other part is, if you know there's a triangle, then do they make acute, obtuse, or right? So the first way, we're just taking 4 plus 12 and making sure that it's bigger than 13. If it is, then yes. So there's your work. Radical 6, radical 7, change those to a decimal or just put it in your calculator. Of course, my solar doesn't work here. Okay, radical 6 plus radical 7, that is about 5.1. And I want to see if that's bigger than the square root of 13, which is 3.6. So we're good. I showed my work there. So both of these can go ahead to the next step. Check this one, 10 plus 14. 10 plus 14 is less than 26, so this is not a triangle. So I cannot do that side, and it's because the reason is the two shorter sides do not add up to the longer side. You have a triangle that falls in. So the triangle wouldn't be able to reach. Okay, so once I have these, now I know I can do Pythagorean theorem. And so 4 squared plus 12 squared and 13 squared. So what I do is just split those up. 4 squared plus 12 squared. That's 160. 13 squared is 169. So in this case, the c squared is bigger than the a squared plus b squared, which means we stretched it out. So I don't have another pencil here, but it's stretched this way, so it's an obtuse. Radical 7 squared plus radical 6 squared equals radical 13 squared. Don't even need a calculator for that. 7 plus 6 equals 13. It's right. You definitely want this on your note card, the one you can use. The two. Okay, so if a squared plus b squared is less than c squared, it's obtuse. And it's a stretched out c. If a squared plus b squared is greater than c squared, it's acute. Otherwise, if they're equal, it's a right triangle. And that's your only choices. Pythagorean theorem, I'm just going to set these up and let you know the difference between x squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared. 6 squared plus 5 squared equals x squared. The key is knowing where the hypotenuse is. These two equations you solve differently. X squared plus 5 squared equals 11 squared. Now on your calculators, let me pause this and grab a yellow one. Okay, we're back. So I'm going to subtract 4 squared. So I can do 5 squared minus 4 squared and then take the square root of that answer. Well, I know that's going to be 3. That's a triple. 3, 4, 5 is a triple. 6 squared plus 5 squared. Some of you don't do this in one step. You have a fancy calculator. Square root of your answer. That's this button down here. Square root of 61. Just make sure it doesn't simplify. So this one would be 11 squared minus 5 squared. So you can do the one step on your calculator if you want, and then do the square root of your answer for radical 6. Justify your answer. Is it a right triangle? This is the angle in question. The fastest way is to find the slope, rise to, run to. So the slope of AB equals 2 over 2, which is 1 over 1. rise 3, run 3, but it's run to the left. So BC equals negative, or equals 3 over negative 3, which is negative 1. Those are opposite reciprocals. Your reason is there's a right angle because the slopes are opposite reciprocals. You can also, while you have it in this form, find the length. This side right here is square root of 2 squared plus 2 squared. It's a distance formula. This is the square root of 3 squared plus 3 squared. This one is 1 by 5. So this is the square root of 1 squared plus 5 squared. You can do that. It's a distance formula. You might need that for something else. And so that's radical 8 and radical 18 and radical 26. And you know that those should be equal. Okay, keep moving. Find the cosine of x. Circle your angle, ca. So cosine of x equals 7 over 25. You don't need to find the trig ratio. It says find the trig ratio, and then it says round your answer to the nearest tenth. That direction should not be on here. Tangent of A. Circle your angle, opposite TOA. Tangent of A equals 8 over 15. Circle your angle, sine, so sine of A equals 10 over 26. If you were finding the angle, you do the inverse, the second button, to solve those. Now we are going to solve. So to solve, here's the steps. Circle your angle, opposite and adjacent. Opposite, adjacent, that's going to be tangent. So tangent 39 equals x over 13. I'm going to multiply to solve. Circle your angle, opposite hypotenuse. Opposite hypotenuse, that's sine. Sine of 69 equals x over 12. I'm going to multiply to solve. Circle your angle, adjacent hypotenuse. That's ca, so katoa. Cosine of 51 equals 12 over x. I'm going to divide to solve. Now I want you to solve those. I'm going to pause it and solve them and put the answers on. I think I double paused my video, so I'm going to go back through this here. To solve here, 10.5, 11.2. When I did this, I did second tan, second sine, and second cosine based on the sides that we have there. You guys are pretty good at those. Okay, down to solve the triangle. I'm going to do Pythagorean theorem first. And square root of 169 is 13. That's a Pythagorean triple. Now I need to find one of the angles. If you want to find both, you can. Find one, subtract from 90. I'm going to circle this one, and I'm going to use cosine, adjacent hypotenuse. So the cosine of J equals 12 over 13. So I'm going to do second cosine. 12 divided by 13. 22.6. That's J. And the other angle is 90 minus that, 67.4. There's your solve. Find the area of the triangles, round to the nearest tenth. Area, I need to find my right angle. That's my base and height. So 1/2, 4 times 3. That's 6. 1/2, 5 times x. So I need to find x. I already found it back here, 5, 12, 13. Find it, use Pythagorean theorem. 1/2, 5 times 12, 30 yards squared. Find my right angle, 1/2, 16 times x. I need to find x. To do that, I'm going to use opposite and adjacent. So I'm going to use tangent of 35 equals x over 16. So I got to multiply 16 times the tangent of 35, 11.2. So my area is 1/2 16 times 11.2. $89.6, doesn't have units, units squared. Okay, I'm gonna stop it and I'll do video for the word problems.